Hello and welcome back guys to our new video. Before we start this video, I want to ask you a question. Which sentence of the following one is the correct one? My father read a lot of books or my father reads a lot of books. Keep your answer now in your mind because the lesson that we're going to learn about today will teach you how to make perfect sentences with no mistakes. Stay tuned. Before we start our video, if this is your first time to watch our videos, so that means you didn't subscribe to our channel, you can now go and subscribe and hit the bell so you can watch all the new videos when they come. Now, let's get back to the question that I asked before we start. Which sentence is correct? Of course, the correct sentence is this one. My father reads a lot of books. Now the question, why is this sentence exactly the correct one? Okay, so in our lesson today, which is subject-verb agreement, in this lesson we will learn about this. We have the subject which is the doer of the verb, as we learned in the videos of subject and predicate, and the verb is the action or the thing that the subject does. So the subject and the verb, they have to agree together. What does this mean? This means that if the subject is singular, so that means that the verb should be singular. And if the subject is plural, that means that the verb should be plural. Okay, we're going to learn this in details in our video. Now let's start. Before we go to subject-verb agreement, we need to revise about singular and plural. Okay, so to make a noun plural, you need to add an S. Okay, what's a noun? We studied before about nouns and we said that it could be a place, it could be animals, it could be people, it could be ideas, it could be things. All of these things, when you find a word and it's one of these, so that means it's a noun. To make this word plural, all what you need is to add S to the word. Like for example, the word girl, the plural form of it is girls. Now, that's for the noun, but how can I make the verb plural? Because in the beginning of the video, we said that if the subject is singular, so the verb is singular. If the subject is plural, so the verb should be plural. Now, how can I make the verb singular or plural? It's very easy. Look at this. To make the verb plural, take the S. To make the verb plural, take the S. Again, so to make the noun plural, add an S. So the noun, to make it plural, you add an S to it. But for the verb, to make it plural, you take the S out. Now, look at this. He, this is the subject of this sentence, talks. This verb is singular because he is singular. That means that the verb, when it's singular, it should have an S. But they talk. They is plural because it expresses more than one person. Talk, the verb for they is plural. That's why it doesn't have an S. Okay? So there is a trick I will tell you later in the video, so please don't pass the video. Okay. Watch the verb endings. We have for the singular verbs, he or she or it should be walks, for example. He walks, she walks. Joe, because Joe is like he, so Joe walks. And the girl, which is like she, so the girl walks. That's for the singular. So the verb, when the subject is singular, that means that the subject doesn't have an S. So the verb is singular. That means that the verb has an S. Now, what about plural? When it's a plural, of course, we don't add an S. As you see here in the verbs, all of them, they don't have an S. Just a second. I is not plural. Yeah, I is not plural, but in this part, we deal with I as it's plural, okay? I walk, we walk, you walk, they walk. Joe and Maria walk because Joe and Maria is like they. The girls, here we have the S in the subject. That means that the subject is plural, so the verb should be plural, so we shouldn't add an S to the verb. Okay, we have some irregular verbs. Not irregular verbs, I mean like they don't follow the rule exactly. Okay, so let's look at verb do. How can we make verb do singular and plural? Of course, if the subject is like he, it's singular, so the singular form of verb do is does. He does his homework, and they do. This is the plural form of verb do. Now, what about have? Verb have. We know that verb have has, has, and had. Okay, she, it's singular, so has, it has an S like this. It has an S because it's singular. The verb is singular, so it should have an S. They have. Okay, the third verb we have is verb to be. And the singular form of verb to be is like he, as, this is in the present, and she was, this is in the past. They are, plural, and they were. Did you notice something? Did you notice that even here they are irregular verbs, but also they end in an S. They all end in an S. Okay, and here we have some tips that can make things easy for you. The first one says, if the subject doesn't have an S, that means that the verb will have an S. Look at this. The subject doesn't have an S. Like when we say that the kid studies English. So here in this sentence, the subject doesn't have an S because it's singular, so the verb should have an S because we said that the singular verb should have an S. The second one says, if the subject does end in an S, so the verb will not have an S. So it's the same example when we say that the kids study English. Did you notice that here the subject, it has an S, so this one doesn't have an S. So that means that we should use one S in each sentence. It could come with the subject or with the verb. It doesn't come with both. Okay? Now, look at this sentence. The girl dances. Here, this one doesn't have an S, so the verb here has an S. Another one. The girls dance. This one here, it has an S, so the verb here, it doesn't have an S. Okay. Now, multiple subject joined with and, when we have more than one person and we have the word and to connect them together. Okay, so let's look at this. If there are two or more subjects joined by the word and, the subject must be plural, so the verb will not get an S. So look at this sentence. The boy and the girl dance. The boy and the girl dance. So that means boy and girl, we have the word and in between, so they are they. And for they, we don't use an S because they is plural. That means that it has a hidden S inside, so we cannot add an S to dance because it's plural. Now, multiple subjects, more than one subject, but this time they are joined, they are connected with or. Let's see the rule for that. If there are two or more subjects joined by the word or, and the verb agrees with the part of the subject which is the closest to it. That part is difficult. I didn't get it. Okay, you will get it when we read this. Now, look at this example. The professor or the students walk the hall. The professor, this is the first part of the subject, and the students, this is the other part. We said here that it goes with the closest subject to the verb. Which one is closest? Professor is close to walk or students close to walk? Of course, students close to walk, and students here is plural. It has an S, as you see, so we don't use an S. Now, the next part, the next example, the students or the professor. Of course, professor here is close to walk and it doesn't have an S as you see here, so we add the S to the verb. Okay. Now, the indefinite pronouns. Oh, what is this word? What is indefinite pronouns? Some indefinite pronouns are always singular. Here are some examples. These are the indefinite pronouns like anyone, everyone, someone, no one, nobody, anywhere, somewhere, nowhere, etc. So all of these words, when they come in the sentence, we deal with them as they are a singular noun. Look at this example. Everybody, it's singular. That means it doesn't have an S. So this verb should have an S. Everybody loves grammar. What about if we have only the word some, for example, like when we say some people in the next example as you see it. Some people, that means that this is singular or plural. Some people, I didn't say one person, I said some people. That means that it's a plural. So that means that this subject, it has an S inside, but it's hidden S. Okay? So that means that this love will not have the S. We're going to say some people love grammar. Okay? Now we have some examples. I want you to proofread them and fix them if they need. The first one. They goes to the gym after class to work out. They goes to the gym after class to work out. Of course, we need to know first where the subject is and where the verb is. Here is the subject and here is the verb. This subject is plural. It should have a hidden S here, and this verb is singular. It has an S. That means they don't agree together. The subject and the verb, they have to agree together. So we have two things to do. Whether we change this into he, or we change this into go. So the sentence could be he goes, or they go. Any of them is correct. Now, sentence 2. Harry and his friends. We said when we have and, so that means that the subject is plural, so we use the verb plural. Hani and his friends. So here we have an S because it's a plural, so we shouldn't use an S here. We need to cancel this S. Harry and his friends want to see the new movie coming out this weekend. Now, the next one. The cat who is mewing at my door wants in. The cat who is mewing at my door wants in. The subject is the cat. It's singular because it doesn't have an S. And the verb is wants. It's singular because it has an S. We said the S should come here or here. I mean, it has to be there. It either come with the subject or with the verb. So this sentence is correct. It doesn't need any fixing. Okay? Now for sentence 4, sentence 5, and sentence 6, I want you to answer them and write the answers in the comments. You can stop the video even to have a look at them. Now, for questions 4, 5, and 6, I want you to write the answers below in the comments. Finally, if this lesson is not a problem anymore, don't forget to like and share the video in order for the video to reach more learners.